All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new little experiment here. So I'm Austin, Austin Ackerman, aka Ack or Ack4 or Ack_119 on the PlayStation Network. And I am joined here today with my two friends Ian and Anna.
Hello.
So we are starting up a little podcast that's been, I think Ian, you and I have been talking about doing something like this, or all three of us have been talking about doing something like this for a while.
Yeah.
So just last night we kind of said let's do it. It'd be pretty easy to do. So we have a lot of
This is
things to
just
get through.
throw it together. Throw it together like a plate of hash.
Exactly.
This is some of the most Mickey Mouse stuff I've ever seen.
So I think the first topic that we should get into is just talk a little about ourselves and who the hell we are. So as mentioned,
Who are you? Who are we?
Scrubs.
What is this?
Well, Scrubs before
Scrubs.
anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little too much of a scrub.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I can tell you about my rage stories with Monster Hunter World when we get to that.
Oh yeah. No, I'm very down. We haven't really talked very much about your time in that game.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go first. I'm mainly a 360 gamer. I played a lot of GameCube growing up and a bit of like N64, but a lot of 360, a lot of Halo. Halo being my favorite game, and just now branching over into all areas of gaming on PC and on the PS4 behind me there. And playing with these two that have always been on PS4 that I've never had the chance to play with up until recently.
Yeah. That made me excited.
Indeed.
I guess I'll go next. I'll just hijack this. Um, so I'm Ian. Go by
Hi,
blinking. Go. Hi. We're all addicts here.
Hi, Ian.
Um, go by Blinking Blue, or Blue for short, and that's pretty much it. I started playing video games when I was like 4 years old on the SNES with Mario World and the Dracula game that came out, and got my PS2 when I was 8. Played like crazy. Played pretty much everything until World of Warcraft came into my life when I was about 10 or 11. And then those 6 years of my life are gone forever. I will never get those years of World of Warcraft back. And
Characterized
after that,
only by World of Warcraft.
yeah, pretty much 8 hours a day of World of Warcraft. And after that, decided to venture out into everything else that I know that I missed out on. And here we are. Look at us. Look at us chuckle fucks.
So actually, I have a question. I didn't realize this. You mentioned the Mario Worlds, like Super Mario World for the SNES. Was that like one of the first games you ever played?
That was the first game I ever played.
We have the same first game. That's the first
I never knew
like
that.
conscious game that I can remember ever playing. It was in preschool. Yeah, on the
Austin, I've known you for 10 years and I
for
didn't know
real.
that about you.
Yeah, you are my longest time friend by far. We've been friends since 6th grade, and we're both 22-year-olds now. But
Yep.
damn, the first game we ever played together. Well, not together, but I almost said together. The first game we ever played was the same. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Anna.
I'm Anna. I go by Anna. I have been gaming my whole life. I have owned so many systems. The earliest one I can remember is the SNES, but we had an NES. But I can remember specifically playing Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And Pac-Man 2, which
Because
is
Pac-Man needed that sequel.
still one of the trippiest games I have ever played. Then I got a PlayStation 2, played on that for a while. Found Ratchet and Clank.
Mm.
So
Greatest
Good
game
series.
franchise.
this Donkey Kong Country, I just pulled out. Well, I guess yeah, I'm recording right now, so you guys wouldn't be able to see this, but I have a Donkey Kong Country like just in front of the camera. Miles has all three Donkey Kong Countries and a SNES, like a brand new SNES that he bought a couple of years ago. So I'm jelly. Those games never entered my childhood, but they may still.
Some may consider you lucky, others may consider you unfortunate. I'm one of the ones who considers you lucky.
Rewinding a bit to this just might be me being nostalgia blinded. The N64, which I think may be one of the greatest gaming consoles.
Truth. I have
I
one
owned
right
that and
there.
I played fucking Banjo-Kazooie for hours.
That's another classic that I never got the chance to explore, and that's a one that I very well still may, because there's been many people that have told me about that game and their memories with it.
Banjo-Kazooie? Oh, it's fucking great.
I bet it's probably, well, I should just look before I speak. I'm curious to see how much that costs. Do you still have that?
Yes, I do.
You'll always
And
have
an N64 that still works, and my original memory card.
you'll,
And
you'll
and those N64 controllers that were made for mutants.
you know what I found out? You know what I found out recently that blew my mind?
Well,
You know
what
how
were
the
you gonna
Wii-
say before that? You always have something?
Oh, you'll always. I was gonna say you'll always have the was it Banjo and Banjo Tooie? Yeah,
Banjo-Tooie.
Oh,
you'll always
right.
you'll always have those games to come back to because you'll never get another Banjo game again.
Never.
Why's that?
Because they're owned by Microsoft.
Rareware
Oh.
is owned by Microsoft now.
I must have missed that. When did that happen?
Oh, a long time ago, back in the
Yeah,
360
this
days.
happened.
Oh,
Do
okay.
you remember? Was it Cameo? Cameo? What
You
was
just
it?
got all robot-y. I don't remember. That was never a game that I played.
It came out. It was like the first game for the Xbox 360.
Oh, the Pinata one, Viva La Pinata.
Not the pinata one. The other
Okay.
one. The one where you're like you're like an elf wearing, and you wearing green, and you can like shapeshift into animals.
I'm looking up like rare
Silence.
games now. No, I have no idea what you're talking about,
But that was
When
that
you
was
look up
one
rare
of the
games,
first
you're gonna
games.
have to look up rareware games.
I know,
because
right?
if you look up rare games, it's not gonna get you much.
Or was it Conquer?
It actually is.
No,
It's given me
it was
quite a bit
earlier than that.
of like actual rare developer games.
Google
is it
has
Cameo?
become too smart.
Is it Cameo? Like an elf wearing green, elf girl wearing green.
Think so. Yep. I think so. Elements of Power.
I thought it was like Elements of Fire or something.
It's a 2005 360 game.
Oh yeah.
So that would be right around the same
2005.
timeline. That's right when 360 came out. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize
Xbox
that
actually,
they bought them.
Xbox, or rather Microsoft owned them a little bit earlier than that, because I remember Conquer Live and Reloaded came out for the original Xbox, which was also my shit.
I was not the Xbox. Listen, I was a adolescent teenager in the mid 2000s, so of course I had a 360. But wherever I went, wherever I was, it was always PlayStation. I had the PlayStation 2. The years of Xbox 360 happened when I was playing World of Warcraft, so I had a PC instead, and it was a shitty like laptop too. But then after that, time passed where I was revisiting old PS2 games, and then I came full circle back to the current generation with a PS3, when my girlfriend decided to get one, and then we saw Bloodborne. We saw Epic Name Bro on YouTube playing Bloodborne, and we were like, "Well, we have to fucking get a PS4 now." So we traded in our PS3 for credit for a PS4.
Wow, I didn't
We got a
realize that.
PS4.
Did
Yeah, and then
I have my PS4 this time?
you did. We didn't actually know each other at this time, though.
Oh, that's right.
We didn't like we didn't know each other until we were both at Shadows of Yarnum. That's when we first met each other.
So to be clear, Austin and Ian knew each other, but Ian and Anna hadn't met yet.
Yes.
Tricky.
Super
So
tricky.
at what point did you get into Final Fantasy games? Was that when you revisited PS2 stuff?
No, I was into Final Fantasy. So the first 3 games that I ever played on the PlayStation 2 were Jak and Daxter. The Jak series is fucking awesome. I love that series.
Another classic I never played.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted
And
Metal.
Final Fantasy X. I was 5 or 6 at the time when I first played Final Fantasy X, and I loved Final Fantasy ever since I played that game. I did not understand. I super did not understand everything that went into Final Fantasy at that point. I just thought they were like edgy and called it Final Fantasy X because I was sick. I didn't know Roman numerals. So.
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, I've been into Final Fantasy pretty much as long as I've been into gaming.
Is it Final Fantasy 3 or 4?
Who are the characters?
What do you mean? I don't follow.
Well, Anna just said, was it Final Fantasy 3 or 4? And I was asking, what are the characters that are in the game? That really is what defines each one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's your team.
Because I say Squall, you're like 8. I say Cloud, you say 7. I say Kane or Locke or Terra, and you say 6. Like, I say Sedaine, you say 9. I say, sorry, I went off.
I say lightning, and you say stop talking.
Yeah, I say lightning, you say lightning, I say shut your fucking mouth.
And that's the only Final Fantasy game that I own.
A friend of mine gave me a copy of their Final Fantasy 3, and that was my first one that I played. I have fond memories of.
So, what was the very first game that you can remember playing, Anna?
Ooh.
The gears are turning.
I have the first very vivid memories I have is of Donkey Kong Country and Pac-Man 2, but the earliest foggy memories are like Atari.
Whoa. Yeah, you got exposed to a whole like another level of stuff. I never played any Atari games, I don't think.
It was like Centipede and
Damn.
You know the game
what was
they
that?
had
River Run or something like that.
Huh. What'd you say, Ian?
I said Centipede, or Snake, the game they had on the fucking Nokia track phone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering now. On my the first or one of the first cell phones I ever had wasn't even a flip phone. It was like just this block phone with a big power button at the bottom that you had to hold down. It was a separate power button, and there were actually games on that phone. One of them was called Crab Catch, where you just played these little crabs that were shifting around the screen, catching these falling like pixels. It was
my god, Crab Catch!
Yeah.
Please.
Don't catch the crabs, kids.
Gaming industry, we need a remaster of Crab Catch.
Please. I would pay like $20 for a remaster of that game, dude. See those crisp crabs?
$60.
Whoa, dude. I didn't know you were that committed. I mean,
Crabbo's catching stuff.
You have to either go all or nothing when it comes to crab catch.
pay the full 60, $59.99.
Mm.
All right. So one thing else I wanted to ask is, what's everybody's like favorite genre? Because I have a very interesting favorite genre that's formed from mainly my love of playing Splinter Cell with my best friend Miles. So I love stealth games. Like I would say is my favorite genre. I like the kind of situations, the gameplay situations that stealth games put you in. What about you guys?
I am a fan of the good old-fashioned turn-based RPG. It's
Fair enough.
probably my favorite of all time. There aren't many things that do it anymore, so like there are ones coming out, but they're mostly indie titles.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of turn-based stuff. I mean, every once in a while a big AAA title turn-based RPG will come out, but at the same time, like there's just not it used to be everything and now it's nothing. So I
That's
would
interesting.
say I would say a more modern approach would be third-person character action, such as such as Devil May Cry,
Mhm.
Bayonetta, Dark Souls, and whatnot.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, Diana.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's actually a good point though. That like we were thinking of last night game genres that are dying off, and we couldn't think of
Yeah.
any. But like just turn-based RPGs, I feel like that is starting to drop off the map, especially with Final Fantasy 15's decision to not have turn-based, and you can, but nobody
Not
did that.
yet. Not even have an ATB system like 13 did, where you do have a certain amount of energy you could use in your turn, but it's kind of live action, but it's kind of not at the same time.
So
Final
Well,
I'm
I'll tell you
Fantasy
not
what, if you
15,
familiar. What does ATB mean?
I don't fucking remember what ATB means. That's what they called it though.
Okay.
It's like you can only do a certain amount of stuff in your turn, and the ATB system was like an actual like real time thing, and it's not a great system.
Hmm.
not a
The
whole lot
only
of people just have patience for the turn-based system anymore.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll have our Pokemans forever and always.
Right, and that's always good for the portability of it. That's what I loved about Pokemon. I very much grew up playing those cartridge games because you could do anything while you're playing Pokemon. The game never demands you to do an action right then. I liked that for sure.
And that's part of the reason why I liked Final Fantasy X so much.
Just
I could sit
close
there
the
for the
DS
next
and put it right back in your pocket.
Hmm.
Sorry.
yeah, I could sit for the next 25 minutes trying to predict every single thing this boss is gonna do, and all I would do is just loop the music over and over again. That was the only negative side effect. But if you love the music, it's not negative at all, and I
Hmm.
fucking love the music. So
Right. They did a good job with it for sure.
The Pokemon music is scarred into your brain by the end of it.
Hmm. I will never get like Dewford Town will never be something I'm unable to just call out of thin air into my brain. And yeah, that the theme of many towns are the same. But one interesting thing though that I just realized about the difference between Final Fantasy and Pokemon is even in Final Fantasy there are situations where you need to be watching because the game might require you to make an action like maybe not with a lot of like immediate need, but I'm thinking of when you're sneaking up on enemies. Like if an enemy is on a patrol, you don't want to just be standing still. Like you want to be watching the enemy. And if you're in the wrong spot, standing still, then you could have them get like, isn't it the initiative attack on you? Don't they have like an extra bonus for that, for getting the drop on you? Isn't there something like that?
in what platform?
Well, okay. So one thing I know is the tiny bit of Final Fantasy 13 that I played. I know that was a mechanic where you had to like sneak
Well,
up to enemies.
we don't talk about 13.
Is that really only
That
in 13?
No, in 12 there was some. 12 was like the begin. Yeah, 12 was the beginning of
There
their
was a
foray into live action instead of turn-based stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, that system did in fact exist in 12.
What about in
there
10 though?
was another one
And
that
10, nope.
existed.
And 10, it was literally RNG when you got attacked.
Oh, okay.
Because you'd just be walking down the path, the screen would do the shatter thing, it would fade away, and you'd be in a battle.
Okay.
But you never you never saw. Well, I'm not gonna say you because you did see enemies,
Right.
but there's nothing you could have done to sneak up on them.
Huh. Okay. I stand corrected.
At least in 10, you're corrected. In 12, that definitely existed. In 13, it existed.
Right.
In 15, yeah, you can sneak up on enemies and have to watch a patrol and make sure you're not in line of sight or anything.
Yeah.
The most, the most you could do in Pokemon, going back to that, is sneak around the trainers or
Right.
wait for them to be facing a direction and then quickly pass by them.
Definitely. They do still kind of have patrols in the same way. Some of them will even walk, back and forth, so you need to be attentive of that. Like if you stand still and you're not aware that there's this guy off screen who's going to walk down and see you, that is a situation where it is kind of demanding input of you right then. So I guess there is still situations.
My Pokemon just got wrecked. I don't have time to be fighting you.
But then again, in like the newer games, like Omega Ruby, from what little I've played of that, you can actually like sneak up on the Pokemon in the grass. Like you can see him standing in the grass, and if you like go slower, yeah, your guy like crawls along. It's pretty cool. It's pretty freaking cool. Okay, and then the one that was a great sound. Oh yeah, thanks allergies.
Oh yeah.
The one thing we haven't caught on yet then is Anna. What's your
yeah? I was about to say, what's
yeah.
Anna's favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a toss-up between the open world adventure, like Wind Waker and had two Zeldas. Wind Waker and Breath of the Wilds, or RTS, like the StarCrafts.
Interesting.
I am a huge fan of RTS, but I also like open world adventure games.
So we got a pretty diverse crowd here. I feel like Anna, you're the most like diverse out of all of us. You're the most like gamer literate. You dabbled in Atari, and I feel like you've had a PC for more time than any of us. Whereas I was very like commercial growing up, playing GameCube and Xbox, and now I'm branching out.
She had fucking like 60 people like LAN parties at her property.
Yeah, that's something else.
Fun.
Oh my gosh. What kind of games are you guys playing?
Halo mostly. We'd invite everybody who's around here who wanted to come out to this giant LAN party, and at one time we had 8 TVs set up, and all the Xboxes were full with 4 players, and we were all sitting around playing Halo Combat Evolved, blowing each other up with rocket launchers.
Dude. So even with that many Xboxes and TVs, though, you can't have more than 8 people on Blood Gulch at a time, right?
No, you could have 24 people. Wait.
I never did any of that, dude. That's fucking crazy. Hold on. Let me just pull this out right now.
Wait, 16? Ugh, right. Fuck math.
Yeah, it only, on the back of the game, it only says players 1 through 4. It doesn't even talk about system. No, it talks about system link, but there's nothing about player count.
I read something that made me, I don't know, think about it. In 50 years, retirement homes are probably going to have LAN parties for us.
Whoa.
That would be awesome.
Whoa.
Get a couple of classic Xboxes. Get a little involved in it.
I have a classic Xbox right down there.
Wouldn't that be fucking awesome? Just a bunch of 70-year-old people playing video games.
That would be me. There we go. Right there.
A little bit of Mech Warrior.
Little bit of Mech Warrior. Little bit of. Oh fuck! What was that From Software game with the mechs?
Armored Core. Armored Core. Wasn't that it?
Armored Core. No, it's not Armored Core. It's something Wolf. It was like the first level is like you're defending you're defending the fucking White House or something.
And you're the president.
Yeah.
You're the fucking president of the United States. I think it's called Metal Wolf.
Metal Wolf. I think it's Metal Wolf.
Metal Wolf? What the fuck are you guys talking about?
Yeah, look up Metal Wolf. You're like the president in a mech suit.
Metal Wolf Chaos?
Yeah, Metal Wolf Chaos.
Oh my gosh. Sure enough, that's FromSoft. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Told myself I wasn't going to be
Alright.
using the computer too much, but you guys are talking about just irresistible things, and I can't help
The
but Google.
The best part is you're the fucking president, and like your secretary comes on. It's like, we believe in you, Mr. President. You have like the whole nation behind you,
Literal Iron
and
Patriot.
it's played completely straight faced. But the situations you find yourself in is like a completely absurd. It's great.
I hope it doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, it's not taking itself seriously, is it? It's just
No,
like,
it's not taking itself. It's taking the piss out of like American patriotism, like super hard.
good. Interesting.
Imagine, who's that? America, fuck yeah.
Team America? World
Yeah,
Police?
Yeah, that one. It's kind of like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to check that game out. It's a 2004 release, too. It's pretty old.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
December 22nd, 2004. So basically 2005. But interesting.
All right. Top fives now.
Yeah, there we go. That's what I was trying to think of. So, you know what, Ian, you go first.
Okay. My top fives. My favorite game of all time, and I think this will be for the foreseeable future. Is hold on, Alexa, shut up.
Does that work?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it does.
She's always
listening. Favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy X, will be for the foreseeable future.
Right.
I can't see anything topping that. It's just, I'll just leave it at that. We'll probably hear more about why I love it in the future, which is fine.
And I hope to play it at some point in the future on my channel.
Dark Souls 1.
That's number 2?
It will be number 2. It's just
Enough said.
Number 3 will probably, okay, the Jack series is number 3. I love the first one. The third one will probably take the place, but the Jack series itself will be like the third spot. Because 3 is the best one by far, but I love the first one, so I'm probably going to give it to the actual spot itself to 3, but...
Right.
Then number 4 is probably gonna be Undertale. Just because, I don't know, I love the music in that game is what really gets me, and the atmosphere that it sets, and everything that game was.
I got a remix from Undertale recently that I've been jamming too. I'm gonna go try and find it. But yeah.
Good stuff. It's good stuff. And then
it is.
Probably Bloodborne after that.
See, I'm okay with you including. No, never mind. Those are two separate. I was gonna say I'm okay with Dark Souls and Bloodborne being in the same, but I'm fine with Dark Souls and Dark Souls being on the same thing. But those are two separate franchises.
The Souls series, but the Bloodborne is pretty far off.
It's different.
All right, I will since it's technically the Soulsborne series, I will include that in the Dark Souls category, but Dark Souls would still take that first spot. In which case, my number 5 spot would probably be...
You speak really highly of Jak and Daxter.
Indeed, he does. I don't remember that being on the original 10 2 years ago. Or I don't remember it being that high on the original 10. I think it was on there, but it wasn't in the top 5.
It's still like... That was like I said, like one of the very first games that I owned. It was the very first game that I ever beat by myself with no one else's help. It was kind of a big deal for me, and I still love going back. When they released a remaster for the PS4, I bought it and I 100%ed the whole thing and platinumed the game in a day.
In a day? What?
Yeah, in a day. I can 100% that game within like 4 to 6 hours, which is nothing compared to the speedrunners, but I feel is an accomplishment for me.
Damn. This is just Jack and
Oh,
Daxter 1.
man.
Yeah, Jack and Daxter 1. My fifth spot is probably gonna have to go to
The
see,
Precursor Legacy.
Yeah, the Precursor Legacy.
That was the first Jack and Daxter. Naughty
That
Dog. I didn't
one's-
know that.
Yeah.
That one's also out on PS4. And got a remaster.
I'm sorry, what? You went robot.
Yeah. Robot sigh.
And that's the nose. That's the noise.
Uh-huh.
Um,
What was your fifth slot?
See, it's tough because a lot of the games that are in my top 10 are actually repeats of the same series, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 15, or Jack and Daxter, Jack 3, or Dark Souls and Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2, and
Right. So when
all
we
that
include
stuff.
those as one, you have to think about what fills the slot.
Yeah, what actually fills the slot. And,
Fair enough.
Oh, what the fuck?
We can come back to you.
No, I think it's gonna have to be Warcraft 3.
Interesting.
The
I
RTS
never played the Warcraft games.
Be right back.
Sounds
Alright.
good.
Because like, I was thinking of Overwatch, but I haven't really been playing it recently. And I was thinking of World of Warcraft, but at the same time, I don't like that game, even though I've plugged countless hours into it. I don't like that game. So, at least anymore. And then I was thinking of StarCraft, but I didn't really like the whole how like intense StarCraft is compared to how Warcraft was, and
Right.
so I think this spot's probably gonna have to go to Warcraft 3 and all of its DLC. It's really good. It's like a MOBA, except you can control your the minions that go by, and I don't know. It's just
Well, that's the game that started the first MOBA, right? Wasn't the very first MOBA Dota 1, which was a mod off of Warcraft 3?
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
If my recollection serves me. Okay, interesting. That's a pretty great and especially diverse list of 5.
Notice there's no FPSs on there. Now I talk shit.
Oh.
I talk shit on first-person shooters quite a bit, just because they're really devoid of any sort of substance for me. That being said, like Halo 3 is still a fucking amazing game.
Yeah, whereas for
And
me, Halo is my favorite game of all time, and I love all of the Halo games.
Fuck Warcraft 3, Resident Evil 4. Never mind.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense. I'm glad you remembered. That definitely seems like quintessential Ian when I think of that game.
For fucking sure. I love that game so much.
Fuck yeah. All right.
I hope this isn't Chris's blood.
Yeah.
I guess I need to play the game to get the reference.
And I saw that they're remaking Resident Evil 2.
Oh yeah. I saw that as well. Did you play that game?
The first 15 minutes. I was at a friend's house that we weren't supposed to be playing it.
Huh. Okay. Tricky.
We weren't supposed to be playing it.
You're too young.
Yeah, I was like 9 or 10, and it was his dad's copy.
There we go. I was just gonna ask, is it Dad's copy?
It's Dad's copy.
Yeah, makes sense. All right.
What about you? What about you, Anna?
Yeah.
Okay, these are just stuff that I can remember. Um, in no particular order. This is just going from how I've marked it down on the list. Banjo-Kazooie,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. We're just doing top
Definitely.
5?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just
doing
top
top 5. Now, it's okay if you can't say at all, but would it be possible out of the 5 to pull out the top, like the favorite? I don't blame you if not. That's the hardest choice to make. But do you have any inclination towards any of these? More than, well, you see what I'm getting at.
Okay, so top number 1, absolute favorite game of all time.
Damn.
Will continuously go back to it and have fun playing it. Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4.
Really?
fair.
Oh
That's
my
fair.
gosh. That is super inspiring to play this game then. Like, literally last night, I was thinking, maybe I'll just play Skyrim. Like, maybe it's not worth the time to go, because I have the Game of the Year edition, but, like, wow.
I spent so many hours of my life on Oblivion.
Robot Anna, what was that? You spent so many hours what?
Sorry. On Oblivion.
Ah.
I don't know what it was about it, but it was just the world was fucking amazing, and there were just the spells were really fun. It was super difficult to get into the college. It actually felt like you were like studying up to get to the college.
And then you're fucking in Skyrim, and it's like, hey, you should go to the college, and they're like, hey, do you do magic? And then you just shout at them, and they're like, all right, cool, we'll let you in.
Oh.
Here, you're our archmage now. You threw a fireball at a skeleton.
Yeah, that's seriously what it felt like.
Huh.
You make your own staff. You can create your own spells. The atronachs and stuff are really cool. Becoming a vampire was like, you got these super cool powers, but it was ungodly difficult to cure yourself of it. So it was like this send off and trade off. The Dark Brotherhood was and
I mean, to be fair, and Skyhood is probably, other than the Thieves Guild, the best quest line. Like, Thieves
yeah,
Guild quest line is pretty damn good, but the Dark Brotherhood quest line in Skyrim is pretty great, especially the end. Well, not the end, but like the catalyst to the final act of the Dark Brotherhood quest line.
my number 1 favorite piece of DLC has to come from Oblivion, and it's the Shivering Isles. That DLC was fucking awesome.
Okay, please don't spoil anything about it, because yeah, at this point, like, it being your favorite fucking game of all time, and the fact that you were able to make that decision surprisingly quick, in my opinion, makes me really want to play that game, man. So I have Game of the Year, I have Shivering Isles, I have a freaking map of the Shivering Isles. Like, I'll play that. I'll stream that.
Go play Oblivion. It's fucking awesome. Do like the main quest line, kill all the like little scavards and stuff. I will admit the combat is extremely clunky
It is.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I do remember that. I've played
PC?
like 2 hours of it. Sorry, am I playing it on PC?
Yeah.
No, 360.
Oh, damn it. There's a mod that you can get that updates the combat in Oblivion to the Skyrim combat, which is so much better.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I will get it on PC.
The
That is
only
huge.
the only thing I will admit that Skyrim has over Oblivion is the combat feels better.
It way better for sure. But I very much remember the the feel of Oblivion, like that was a world that was constantly showing me new things at every corner and that I very much wanted to explore. Like I got to the paint world, for example. I didn't get very far, but I just happened to explore this one chick's house and this particular painting, and pretty soon I'm inside that painting. And a game that can do that's pretty amazing.
That's another thing. It's so fucking rich. There's
Exactly.
always stuff to do in every direction. That I remember reading an article a long time ago that while they were making the game, they sent people to like colleges and stuff to study like fauna and stuff for like 3 years before they even started working on the game.
Dude. Bethesda has a certain kind of
They
like
were
they really work hard on their stuff.
They're becoming shitty. They are becoming shitty.
They're
but
becoming
I mean,
shitty, and that's part of my article that I'm bringing up later.
Ah, interesting. Okay. See, because for the longest
They-
time, I didn't like Bethesda games, and I'm just starting to be like, hey, Fallout and Oblivion, pretty great.
They
Huh.
used to be amazing, and I think after the whole Obsidian incident, they kind of became ripe cunts.
All right, what are the other games on the list for Anna?
Yeah, we should get moving along.
Oh, play Shivering Isles. It's awesome. It's my favorite part of that entire game.
Will
That's
do.
already my favorite game. Shivering Isles, 100% out of 1,000. But I mean, 1,000 out of 10.
I'm looking at the price of the. I'm looking at the price of the game right now on Steam.
Next one has to be Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay.
Open world adventure game, collectathon, but I mean, it was so satisfying, 100% the level.
So is Jak and Daxter.
So is Jak and Daxter. I think Jak and Daxter was made in the spirits of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, Naughty Dog and Ratchet and Clank for that matter. Even though they're made by Insomnia and Naughty Dog, they still had the collective soul of Banjo-Kazooie, I believe. I'm also just very happy with Naughty Dog in general.
Yeah.
I wish they would span out from making
Yeah, like they really
Uncharted all the time.
Yeah, well, that, but like
to be fair, they've made a bunch of Ratchet and Clanks.
No, that was Insomnia. Insomnia made Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is Insomniac.
They were literally in the same studio space, and they were friends with each other when they made Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter. But
I
not
oftentimes get them mixed up.
That's fair. I just like how Naughty Dog, like, when they were an early company, they developed for kids with Jak and Daxter, and then when Jak 2 came along and Jak 3 came along, like, their audience was getting older, so they made an older, like, teenage version of Jak and Daxter along with the Uncharted games. And then when their audience became adults, they made Last of Us.
Tricky.
I just like how the studio itself matured with its audiences.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2. I'm so excited.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's the third slot for Anna?
Ooh.
Before that, was Banjo-Kazooie definitively second?
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie is definitely second. It's honestly a toss-up between Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie.
Well, the same franchise where I'm fine with being the same, because my number one is Halo, and then favorite of Halo being Reach, but franchise can still fill up a slot. I'm fine with that.
Okay, well, the two early Banjo-Kazooies, and I'm gonna throw up Banjo 3E in the spirit of it.
Yeah,
Banjo nuts and bolts can go eat a dick.
All right, fair enough. Thank you. Third game?
The next one, that's going to be tough. Metal Arms for the Xbox original.
Fucking Metal Arms.
Another game I've actually never heard of. I'm Googling this right
Metal
now.
Arms. You played as a little android named Glitch.
Whoa. Glitch in the system.
And you fought, you fought, I think it's out for Xbox 360 too.
It is, yeah. GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and 360. Released November 18th, 2003.
Oh my god, this is bringing back so many memories. So, you played as this little miner droid helping out these other little miner droids who are under the oppression of these mills and General Corrosive, who was made by a droid trying to, better living conditions. And this general is now making these droids and trying to kill all the, the general is making all the mills that are trying to kill all the droids. And it's up to Glitch and a few oddball friends that he meets along the way to fucking stop General Corrosive. It's
Interesting.
super fun, and the multiplayer was really fun at the LAN parties.
Yeah, you're tempting me. I can get an Xbox original copy of Metal Arms Glitch in the System for $5.97 on Luki Games. And then Oblivion, by the way, on Steam is on sale for the next 2 days for $10. Game of the Year edition.
That was one of the first games I purchased on Steam.
Yeah, I'm tempted. And what else?
Modded so many titties for.
You have no idea. So many bouncing titties.
What? Is that?
Anna used to mod Oblivion and Skyrim.
And specifically the titty physics?
The titty physics.
No, that was just a part. That was a small part
of all of the mods.
Only a small piece of what I was
crazy.
doing.
I love to make mods. I'd love to tear apart a game and put it back together.
Huh.
Specifically the Bethesda's, any of the Bethesda games, because they're super fun and easy to tear apart. And then they came out with the Creation Kit, which made it even easier to tear it apart. But now they have the Creation Club, which is cunty, and I don't want to talk about them.
Interesting.
Ian will do that for me.
Yeah, I'll have to get the PC version so I can do that.
That's not what my topic's about, but I agree with you 100%.
One last thing, Banjo-Kazooie is only like $20 on Luki Games, so also kind of tempting. So.
Ooh.
All right, we gotta move on.
Indeed.
We gotta keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Fourth and fifth.
How many am I at?
I think
you're just 4 right now.
Yeah. We can come back to
Halo Combat Evolved.
Really?
Halo Combat Evolved.
Fuck yeah. Well, I guess I can't blame you with all those memories at the LAN. Okay.
Yeah, specifically the LAN parties.
Fair enough.
The multiplayer was awesome. Moving on, everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Game changing. Moving on.
Yep. Revolutionized.
It's a toss-up between Borderlands 2 and Mass Effect 3.
I'm gonna save you from your own shame and say you should choose Borderlands.
Now, when I say when I say Mass Effect 3, I'm not talking about the game. I don't even consider there to be a game on Mass Effect 3. The Mass Effect multiplayer was fucking awesome.
We still need to play that.
I have very fond memories of playing the Mass Effect 3's multiplayer.
But Anna, does that mean that you here's the thing about that. Of all of my picks in top 5, I love every part of the game. Every single part of the game.
Truth.
Good point. Borderlands 2. I have sunk. It's probably the only other game I've sunk hours into besides Oblivion.
Yeah, Anna and I and Adam are all going through that game right now. Although whenever I look at it, it kind of makes me feel sick because we played it so much when I was on the steroids for my viral lung infection. So looking at it and playing it kind of makes me feel kind of gross. but hopefully that'll pass soon enough so we can start playing it again.
Yeah, the one reason why I don't want to have like plenty of hours be necessarily a qualification for favorite games is because my fourth favorite game I haven't sunk a lot of hours into, but I know it's my fourth favorite game.
And I hate World of Warcraft, but I have over 1,000 hours in it. So
right, so that shouldn't, yeah, not that it's. I mean, it certainly is an indication, but it shouldn't be that large of a factor in my opinion, in making it your favorite game.
But even still, I know Anna loves Borderlands 2.
Borderlands 2 was my favorite. I
Just-
love how every enemy explodes into money pinatas.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
how there are hundreds upon hundreds of shift codes for golden keys so we can get as many overpowered guns as we want to.
Again, a game that I have Game of the Year edition of that I have. I've pretty much not played that because I've been trying to play like Borderlands 1 first, and Gavin and I started up something we didn't really finish it. But
Borderlands 1 is
what Borderlands 2 did better.
If you try and force yourself through Borderlands 1, you're not going to enjoy Borderlands 2.
Okay, maybe I'll just skip it.
If you force your way through it, you're gonna just have a bad taste in your mouth for it.
Yeah. I feel like it would be enjoyable if I had a team of 4 who would be like able to come back to that game consistently to actually beat the game with that team of 4. I feel like that would be something I wouldn't want to miss out on. But I'm okay with skipping it otherwise.
If they were to remaster Borderlands 1 and release it with Borderlands 3, which is coming up soon, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't think they will, but I mean, there's an option if...
I am absolutely terrified it's going to be an Xbox One exclusive because Gearbox is owned by Microsoft now.
I'm not terrified with that. Microsoft needs to step up their game. I mean, fair enough. Like, I guess I didn't think about the fact that you guys are PS4 only gamers, but like, I'm as an Xbox fan, like, I'm fearing for Xbox. Like, they really need to catch up. So I'd be okay with that. Okay. I guess I should give my 5, since we've taken probably like an hour on this already. So at number 1, Halo, if that isn't already clear. Above me, you can barely see in the webcam, but above me, that is the legendary Reach statue. Because Reach will always be my favorite game of all time. I highly doubt a game's going to surpass that, just because all the feels it's got for me and the nostalgia I have with it, and how much I just fucking love that game and think it's perfect and like almost above what a video game even is. I consider it like something else, pretty much. So fucking love Reach. And then like the other Halo games would fall underneath that, being like ODST, and then 3, and then 2, and then 1 remastered, the only 343 game that I actually kind of like. And that's number 1. So number 2 is Emerald version, or Sapphire, which I grew up with, or now Omega Ruby, which looks like just amazing, make me cry, it's everything but better. Number 3 would be Minecraft, hands down. Now that is one game where the amount of hours I've sunk into it, I would say, is an indication of how much I love that game, because just how much...
Don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure in both Anna and I's top 10, Minecraft is in there.
I sure hope so.
Minecraft would somewhere be in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not 5, and it's not top 5.
Right. It's like me and Dark Souls. Dark Souls is actually number 6 on my list. Yeah, so 3 being Minecraft, the game I've poured many hours into. 4, like I mentioned earlier, not so many hours into, would be Phantom Pain. And actually, this is the...
Phantom Pain, I fucking love that game.
Ooh, I love this game. Well, I mentioned earlier, stealth is my favorite genre. This is my favorite stealth game. I just fucking love everything they did about this game. So originally...
Thank you, boss.
Oh my god, I remember when I was at your place watching you play it.
Dude,
And
Oh,
you tried to stealth so hard through this base, but everyone saw you, and then the
uh-huh.
guy in the fucking tower was like, "Oh no, we're taking sniper fire," and you're like, "No, you're not. You're taking mortar fire," and you shot the mortar literally 5 feet away into the tower and blew it up. And then
Oh.
not but fucking 5 minutes later, you were sneaking around and you forgot you had your grenade launcher on you, not your shotgun. And
Uh-huh.
so when a guy spotted you, you spun around and point blank shot a grenade in his fucking face.
I do remember that. No, and my fondest memory, like the most enjoyment I think I've ever had in a game. Oh shit. I was thinking for a sec that was Phantom Pain, but it wasn't. That was GTA. There was a time I'm pretty sure that you were watching me play GTA. And I was just like driving through the swamps, listening to some
Yeah,
ridiculous music.
with the with the fucking van.
Yes.
Like you you, you were driving, just fucking just kind of driving there.
The
And then
jankiest
you were
driving.
yeah, you were letting like the camera angles change. And I was just like, all right, he's just going somewhere. And I was just watching you. And it was like the 8th hour into the gaming session. And then I just see you slowly, ever so slowly veer off into the side of the road. And then the camera angles just changes, and then the van is just going through the swamp.
Yeah, I just pressed B for that cinematic camera and just let it go. And I was just holding down the right trigger. And the song was appropriate. Everything was fucking perfect about that. But
Oh fuck, that was
yeah.
funny.
Well, that's my fifth favorite game, actually, is GTA 5, now that we're mentioning it. But the one thing
Cool.
I was going to say about Metal Gear is originally, so when you watched me play, that was on the 360 on this copy right here I'm holding up. But since then, I have bought this shiny, brand new Metal Gear Definitive Edition that at some point I'm looking forward to playing. Because that includes the Ground Zeroes little like prequel as well. Did you guys ever play? I know Anna, you've played Phantom Pain. Did you ever play the prequel, Ground Zeroes?
A little bit.
Doesn't sound like you were impressed.
I didn't nearly enjoy it nearly
Ugh.
as much as the Phantom Pain.
Yeah,
It felt like
a way to
they
pay
thought,
for all the big stuff they were doing.
yeah, for a way to pay, one, a way to pay for the game that they were releasing, and two, I feel like they felt guilty about not releasing the game when they thought they did, so they released this little prequel, but it feels like a guilt game.
See, I
You
didn't
know, like
realize
when
that happened.
like you know when someone does something shitty to you, so they get you something, but you know that this is all they're gonna do to make up for it.
Is that what it feels like to you?
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah. See, I didn't realize that the release date got pushed back. That makes a lot
It's
more
not
sense
the
now.
release date. I don't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the release date getting pushed back. It was
Just a
just
long
the
gap.
fact, just a long gap.
Okay. Yeah. When
Was
did the last game come out?
was
It
that
was
the
early.
first game that was made with the Fox engine?
Yeah, it was the first one. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure that's the whole reason they released it was to test out the Fox engine.
That also makes sense.
Oh shit. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 was June 12th, 2008. That's when Guns of the Patriots
it was
came
a
out.
while.
Yeah.
It was a while.
Jeez.
Okay. Makes sense. Cool. Well, those are our fives. That should give, after that long rambling, some good synopsis of where we come from in gaming.
That rambling is good. I
Yeah.
enjoy that rambling.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
want to make sure we get to all of our stuff.
For sure.
Which
Exactly.
the next stuff is a gaming topic that is from the industry that we want to talk about. I have mine. I have my article.
Is it just one? Are we limiting ourselves to one?
Yeah, just one.
Okay. Cool. I'll
But have backups because people might steal yours.
I have like 1.5. I have to go
Okay,
1.5.
cool.
Okay.
All right. Well, I have mine if y'all are ready.
Cool.
The Verge released an article about a topic that Austin and I have talked about before. Fallout 76 won't have cross-platform play because of Sony. So the article is basically dealing down how Fallout 76 is going to be an online multiplayer game. That's going to be on the PlayStation 4, and the PC. But um, basically, Todd Howard and Microsoft are blaming Sony for not wanting to do cross-platform play. Most of like the biggest indicator of this has been the fact that Fortnite was going to be cross-platform play,
Right.
but PlayStation 4 was like, "Fuck no, we don't want to do that." And now
Hmm.
the Switch is even getting Fortnite. Um, and Microsoft and everyone else is like, "We really want to do this, but Sony keeps saying no, and Sony keeps being jerks about it." And here's the thing that frustrates me: all across everything, especially when Sony is asked to do stuff with Microsoft. Microsoft is completely insisting that they use the Xbox Live online format. Like they are insisting that if we do cross-platform play, Microsoft is saying we are not going to do this unless you use our software. And Sony's like, we don't want to fucking do that. We don't want to pay you to use your software for cross-platform play.
Yeah, there needs to be
Like
some meeting in the
we
middle.
we don't want to fucking do that because we lose tons of money on our end, and all of our online money that runs our fucking servers is going to go to you at that point. So everyone's blaming Sony because they don't want to do it, when really Microsoft is the one that's not budging on this ridiculous, this is a ridiculous claim. Like it's they're asking far too much of Sony
Absolutely.
when it
Yeah.
comes to it.
There needs to be some meeting in the middle. Microsoft just gets this big ass stick up their ass, and I'm sick of it, dude. They just
Like it has to be Microsoft's way, or else Microsoft won't do it. And then they blame other people, saying, "Oh, it's their fault because they don't want to do what we want them to do."
yeah, that's fucked up.
That's the way it's been with Microsoft for a long, long fucking time. And I'm
That's
sick
the
of people
same.
blaming. I'm only because Sony is not in the wrong here. If Sony was blatantly in the wrong, saying, "No, we just don't want to do this, fuck everyone else," then I'd be like,
I'm,
"Sony, you're being an asshole. Pull your head out of your ass, please." But Sony's obviously not in the wrong here, at least in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure that's why PlayStation won't be involved in the Better Together update
It's exactly why
for
they're not going to be
Minecraft.
involved. Yeah, it's exactly why they're not going to be involved.
Yeah. So I just looked up and confirmed. I didn't know this before you just mentioned this, that Switch and Xbox Fortnite is already cross-platform,
Yeah.
and that there is a article I'm reading that was released today talking about an interview with like one of the PlayStation execs, basically just saying like we're looking at a lot of possibilities. Oh yeah, I don't like the the tone of this conversation is like putting pressure on Sony to like you know just give in, and what they're trying to do is make sure that the right things are preserved in the process. What it seems like to me, and
Yeah,
not
for sure.
so.
How much longer until the community moves on from Fortnite, though?
Yeah.
To the next big thing, Gears of War Funko Pop Mobile Battle Royale and Knuckles.
Yes, with Uganda knuckles throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hmm, interesting. Okay. Is that your piece, or do you have more you wanted to say?
Yeah. Nope, that was my piece, and that was my opinion. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I would love to see Microsoft and Sony do a middle ground thing where, like, just use for online and everything online aren't bottlenecked like Microsoft does, but at the same time, the connectivity between players isn't like Xbox. It's like on PlayStation. Just a good meeting in the middle, brand new brand of online service where you could pay. Like Xbox Live is no longer a thing. PlayStation Network, all of the gaming companies use the same online server networking service so we can all play together, except for PC. PC is going to, because they have an obvious advantage over consoles.
Yeah, but that's what needs to happen. Absolutely. So there needs to be some meeting in the middle, or else it'll just continue to be these two distinct companies with two distinct networks.
They
Anna.
can still have. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I was just going to move on to the next topic, but if you have something more to say, you can.
I don't really have a topic, more of a statement.
Well, what is it?
Well, what is
We'll
it?
get it out then. Get on with it.
It's that Crash Bandicoot came out a couple days. The Insane Trilogy came out on Steam a couple days ago.
Ooh.
Oh,
We're
it came out
excited
on
about that.
Steam.
Okay. Looking this up.
I have vivid memories of my sister's friend coming over to our house in California, and all of us like blasting Green Day, Jimmy Eat World, and Blink, playing Crash Bandicoot and eating candy.
Yeah, I never played Crash as a kid. It just seemed, I don't know, seemed like too fart humor for me, even as a kid. But
it's very
I don't know.
far humor.
Yeah.
But then again, there's nothing wrong with that anymore. Like I had a phase of my life where I'm just like, farts aren't funny. Just, be mature about it. But now I'm like, if I could fart in the mic right now, I totally would. Farts are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, especially in gaming, I've gotten over.
Stupid, dumb kid humor is the shit. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm. It certainly can be. It certainly can be. Yeah, this looks gorgeous.
Censor beeps are one of the funniest fucking things ever.
Yeah. Censor beeps placed inappropriately are even better. It's like playing a laugh track over the Titanic.
But yeah, it looks super beautiful.
It does.
I am super stoked for it.
I'm looking at photos right now.
And that means people are gonna mod it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Well, what's your topic?
And then they have that one level included that was too difficult for the original, so they had to remove it. Fucking Rainy Slope or something like that.
Huh.
They put that in there, and there's even a time challenge on it. Ain't no one gonna get that thing.
Interesting.
I'm trying to remember the exact name of it.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at the
Stormy
language.
Ascent. There we go.
Stormy Ascent?
It's called Stormy Ascent. It's one of
there we go.
Fucking most difficult levels like ever created for the original Banjo-Kazooie. Oh my god. Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah, it says experience the notorious Stormy Ascent level. Interesting. All right, so my piece, so it's like 1.5. The one thing I wanted to say is I was doing some research into next gen stuff, and I don't know, it feels like it's time to start the topic of next gen for me. I was never really on next gen until recently. Like I only just bought a PS4 in April and a Xbox One X when they came out in November, but Microsoft and Sony have indicated they're starting to, look into what the next gen is going to look like. And I wanted to talk about like hardware side of things, but also like the software side of things. I think it's very interesting on the software side of things first, how games are starting to look that are just highly I don't know, it's like they're detailed in a way that, like, based on like Alana Pierce's description of, like, she was one of the people that got to see Cyberpunk 2077.
My god, I cannot wait for that game.
Exactly, and you look at the trailer and, like, from her description of that, it sounds like that's a livable world that we're walking around and engaging with, and that's next gen to me.
I thought it was live action at first.
So
I think it is, but a lot of that, it sounds like when you actually are playing it, it's not going to be that much different. It'll be first person.
I know you're trying to stay away from Death Stranding at all possible costs, but let me tell you right now, the way the game looks, it's almost
It looks next gen.
it, I'm not going to say next gen because it's not next gen. It's coming out for the current generation.
Right.
At least I'm pretty damn sure. Next gen is not going to happen for a while. They're going to start researching into it. They're going to if a PlayStation 5 comes out, it's probably not going to be for another
They're projecting
what is it?
2021. There's rumors of
Yeah,
2021 for PS5 and 2020 for the next Xbox Series.
yeah,
I'll come back to the
I was
hardware.
gonna say like what 2020 what year is it 2018 probably I was gonna guess like 2022 or 2023 like another 4 or 5 years before they actually get to it.
It very well could be. I'm kind of
But
hoping it is.
I don't know like okay so there's a law of computing. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it basically expresses that computing power and computing processing doubles every year. So every year, the amount of processing and computing that we can do doubles, effectively doubles, every single year.
Does it really
Which
Everything
though?
gets more efficient.
it does. It really fucking does.
Well,
We don't really see it. It's
Okay.
more on the
the
commercial level that things the commercial level doubling is where it really happens, and then what we get is what trickles down from that. It happens a little bit later for us, but it still happens nonetheless.
the one thing that's really holding us back is we don't really have an efficient way to store energy and transport it. Um,
And that's what quantum computing's about. But then again,
yeah, that's
we're not going to get quantum computers until like 2050, 2060. It's going to be a long fucking time before we get anything like that.
So I thought
I
quantum
have
computers were more for just like calculating so many possibilities at once. It's only going to be of use to a few very particular lines of like occupation, like people that
It
need to
will
be.
be it will be useful for everything. Because
as
think about this. Think about this. If you have a quantum computer that's calculating all of these possibilities at once, each one of those possibilities could effectively be a particle in a newly simulated world.
True. Yeah, it could definitely become that
Possibilities
for sure.
could be a particle or a something in a new world and in a simulated world, which would be a video game. So it could be that, but like I said, that's not happening for a long ass time.
Okay. Yeah. So we're
I
agreed
have
that
to
for now
wonder.
this is only of use to particular fields, but you're saying
Yeah.
eventually. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Anna.
I have to wonder. We're gonna get to the point where the graphics are so good and the frame rate runs so well that our human eye just can't, see past that. Like we can't get to there. What do we do after that? Actually focus on story?
Or gameplay, hopefully.
Our
Good
gameplay,
golly.
hopefully.
Yeah.
We
But
just have to make
I
we
think
just
at
have to
that
make sure
point,
we can see every drop of sweat on fucking some
Marcus
FIFA
Phoenix,
player's right butt cheek
First.
before we can
yeah.
get to that point.
Yeah.
But I think at that point, when we don't have any, I think that's when people are going to start investing in augmented reality, where you
Yeah.
actually start to feel certain things and smell certain things. Imagine
I'm
playing
hoping
horror.
that's where the
Imagine
HTC
playing.
Vive goes.
Imagine fucking playing horror games where you can smell the environment you're in.
No, no. Dude, that's for a long time now. I've been thinking that like horror games are really gonna take games in a new direction at some point in the next decade or two, where like people will actually start to get PTSD from games, and there'll need to be like massive disclaimers like maybe don't play this because it's not going to be
Maybe
enjoyable.
don't fucking play this.
Yeah, maybe think twice about it. But
At the beginning of Senua, a huge disclaimer that says, "Hey, listen, if you schizophrenia or bipolar or some sort of disorder, like mental disorder that is triggered by, one of these things, like and it was like voices,
yeah,
audio hallucinations, visual hallucinations, flashing, if any of those things trigger that, please don't fucking play this game.
Well,
'Cause
that's the
you will
point
be
that we're
set
already
off
at.
immediately.
But I feel like they're going to be soon to the point where if you're actually playing these games for any extended period of time, you'll be exposing yourself to such stressful situations. You could actually be developing these kind of disorders. I feel like that's where we're headed. I feel like there's actually not just flare-ups, but the genesis of these problems.
Yeah, like
RTS has
I-
already
I-
caused fucking panic attacks.
Yeah, they can for sure. You're spending 2 hours working on your setup and just to see it get
And then
demolished.
and then you see a fucking Zerg rush coming your way, and you're like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, that's got to be fucking heart-stopping or heart-skipping.
So yeah, I can agree with you, Austin. I think within the next 10 years, the genesis of a lot of PTSD from victims will come from horror games that are just getting too fucking scary.
Yeah, it'll get too real, and there'll have to be this. It's just going to change the culture around video games. I feel like horror games are going to bring out this new thing we'll have to think about.
I mean, people already fucking are shitting on games, saying that video game addiction is now considered a mental disorder. Video game addiction.
That's by the DHHS or something.
It's by the WH organization.
Well, I mean, I can get with that. Overuse of anything is not good. Here's case in point, my tendinitis.
What's happening is they're blaming video games instead of why they got addicted to them in the first place.
Right. I think addiction in itself is a very large problem. Is I would say like filling a hole more than anything else, and you have to address why the hole is there and what's wrong with this person's life.
And not blame the thing that they're addicted to.
Right, because it'll always be something.
Time.
Yeah.
Because there are things that are like, listen, video games aren't addictive. You don't get withdrawals from not playing video games.
I would say they're very minimal symptoms, but you can. I would say, I have very loose definition on drugs and like what can and can't be abused, basically. But I see where you're coming from. It wouldn't be anywhere near the same level of withdrawals as if you drank coffee every day.
Or even like if you did fucking heroin. But yeah, even if you drank coffee every day, like I drink coffee every day, and if I don't, I get a headache.
Right.
But if I don't play video games for a week like I just fucking did because I was so busy at work, there's literally no side effect other than I kind of miss playing, but I'm busy, so whatever.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely the problem doesn't lie in the thing that you're abusing, but the reason that you're abusing, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I wanted to come back to the next gen topics. So the software is cool. It's starting to, in my mind, we're starting to see the framework of what next gen's going to look and feel like. And I think a big part of that is VR, which is what makes those scary games so engaging, or might make them so engaging. And I think maybe part of the reason why we're going to see as long of a gap as we are before the next gen comes out is because it may include VR. Us console gamers might get a better access into that. Because from what I'm hearing, PSVR is pretty meh. And nothing is really up there with what we can get on the Oculus on a PC.
The best... Ugh, the Oculus. Don't even want to talk about the Oculus. Fucking, the best VR you can get right now is probably the HTC Vive.
Really?
Yeah, because it comes with little hand things. It tracks more of your movements of your head than the Oculus, and it comes with these little controllers you hold in your hand, and in the game it will like look it up. It'll put your hands in the game where your hands are in real life.
I cannot wait until Microsoft says, all right, the new generation of Xbox is coming out, and it's gonna require Kinect, and it's gonna require VR. You won't be able to play it otherwise, and you'll always be connected to the internet.
Well, here's the other piece that I'm finding out about, though. With the hardware side of things, Xbox has stated that they're not going to be coming out with a next console. It's going to be a series of consoles, and they're really putting their emphasis right now on what's it called? Play wherever, like that, the Xbox service they have right now, where I can tap this little Xbox thing and boom, I get this green Xbox up on my screen, and I can play many of my games like Halo Wars 2 on my PC if I wanted to. It seems like that's the kind of thing they're really working towards. I read a news article saying they're coming out with like a game streaming service they're working on, where their vision with this is to have console quality gaming on any device, like a phone on the go. And that kind of thing kind of already exists with, what's it called? The PS4 Viva.
The PlayStation Now. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the PSV. Okay, the Vita.
Is it Viva? What's it
No,
called?
Vita.
It's the
Vita. There we go.
Okay, so the Vita is like, it's not really it's not really that. It's kind of just a creepy little anime device.
Oh, you poor little Liam, you.
Yeah, it's mostly just for like it's like the PSP. You remember the PSP?
Yeah, it looks like a PSP.
More Japanese games are released for it than
Interesting.
thing. PlayStation has a game streaming service called PS Now, which is kind of the same thing. I want to see where Xbox goes with this. I think it's too early to call bullshit on what they're doing, but I feel like I will be calling bullshit within the next year on what they're trying to do.
What do you mean in terms of like it's a bad idea, or you don't believe it?
And in terms of they're gonna do it, but something real shady is gonna be tied with it.
Absolutely, I think so. Unless I start seeing something redeeming for Xbox soon, my opinion of their attitude about gaming and their direction with all the power and money they have is just going downhill. So
I'm not saying Microsoft's gaming is a sinking boat, but it is taking on a lot of water.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm interested to see like if it incorporates VR, or if it's incorporating like multiple different choices for the console. Because the thing is, like, if it is going to incorporate VR, it's going to be a while before the console that can run quality VR becomes an affordable thing that you can put in your living room. So, it'll be tricky. But yeah, there are rumors floating around.
Right.
No, go ahead. HTC Vive.
The HTC Vive dev kit's like $800.
Yeah, these things are pretty pricey. I did do a little bit of a price check when you mentioned it, and they're not cheap for sure.
No.
As they shouldn't.
Even
be.
the Oculus is like 500.
Damn. Huh.
Don't get the Oculus though. Piece of crap.
But yeah, these conversations are being had apparently over at Sony. So the rumors are 2021 for PS5 and 2020 for the next Xbox, whatever that'll be. It's being called Scarlet, the Scarlet Project, much like Scorpio was the thing behind me.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
All right, so that was the one thing. The 0.5 news article story I had was just the free games coming out. Sorry, did you have something else to say? I kind of cut you off there.
No, go ahead.
So again, on the note that Sony's got their shit figured out, Microsoft not so much. As of today, we can turn on our PS4s and download Heavy Rain, Absolver, Rayman. Maybe is it split up? I forget how PS works. How PlayStation works, but the 4 games are those 2: Rayman 3, Deception for the Nightmare Princess, whatever the fuck that is. Rayman 3, which I already have on Xbox One, but Heavy Rain and Absolver, those are pretty big titles. I know you fucking hate anything. Is it David Cage?
David Cage.
Page. He's French.
Yeah,
Heavy Rain.
French. Fuck.
Heavy Rain is cool when the first like hour, and then man, does it So hard.
Wait, the first like hour or so? Is that what
Yeah,
you
the
said?
first hour or so is very novel, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
hate David Cage. One of my favorite painful games to slug through was oh crap, what was that game?
Indigo?
Beyond Two Souls.
Oh, Beyond Two Souls. Oh my god.
yeah.
Is this the final cutscene? It's still going. It's still going.
Ugh.
Why, David Cage?
Yeah, from what I've heard, I'm not looking forward so much to that game. But it sounds like from Ian's description, he put like Detroit at first for David Cage games and
It's
Heavy Rain number
very
2.
yeah, it's very clearly the best one by a large margin. Out of 10.
I'm kind
Interesting.
of upset about that. I wanted it to be hot garbage so we'd have
It's-
something to
No,
at least
but it's
laugh
okay
at.
though.
But
No,
it's
but it's okay, though.
That's the problem.
And then Heavy Rain is probably it's probably number 2.
Okay, so I'll definitely
At
you
the
know, play
very
the
bottom
first
is
hour.
Omicron.
Omicron. What is it? Welcome in Omicron.
Welcome in Omicron.
What are you guys talking about? I'm not in the,
Omicron.
like,
David Cage made a game a long time ago. It was
Yeah,
like
the Nomad
first game
Soul.
he made called Omicron.
Yeah, we talked about this like last night. I just don't understand the reference you guys are talking about. Come on
It
in.
literally,
Oh.
the very first thing you see when you boot this game up is Welcome in Omicron.
Alrighty then.
I think it's a voice. I think it's a voice that comes over after you wait in the title screen long enough that's like, welcome in Omicron.
Yeah, it looks like a moldy, dry pile of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just like David Cage.
Yeah.
Who will you be after you die? Well then. So yeah, in comparison to those, okay, the big one I'm stoked about is Absolver. Do you guys know anything about Absolver?
I'm gonna need a refresher. Let me do some research.
It's like a fighting game that apparently didn't do so well because now it's free. It just came out in like August.
It's not that they don't do so well. It's that like, okay, well, it's a 6 out of 10, so it didn't do so well. But
Didn't do so
at the same time, like MGS5 did fucking great, and it was free in December.
well, that was like 2 years after it came out though.
It was a year after it came out.
Wasn't it 2015? I'm pretty sure it was 2015
And-
release.
Was it 2015? I can't remember anymore.
Ha, yes. 9/1/15.
Ha! You are wrong.
I get to walk away from this proud. Yeah. No, it was I'm okay with that. It's not making up for success.
Made by Devolver and Slow Clap.
Absolver.
Yeah,
Two devs I've never heard of before.
Devolver is okay.
So I don't know. The
Okay.
game looks interesting.
We all
It
need to go
looks,
to the Devolver conference.
it's got a pretty aesthetic going on with it. So I'll check it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, those which are decent games as compared to what the fuck with Xbox. So actually, to be fair, I said Conviction is I said Dark Souls is my 6th favorite game, and Conviction would be my 7th favorite game. And Conviction, Splinter Cell Conviction, is now going to be one of the free games in May, but that's the only one I've even heard of. There's like Assault Android Cactus. Yep. Death Squared. And Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown.
Okay. Virtual
Virtua-
Fighter 5 is pretty sick.
Oh, you guys know that
I was
game?
gonna
I don't know that
say,
game.
Virtua Fighter 5 is the only one I know about.
No, it's Virtua. It's not. There's no L on the end. Or in the,
Yeah, Virtual Fighter 5 is pretty dumb,
I
but
meant
pretty sick.
Virtua Fighter. Sorry.
Have you guys? So, how extensively have you guys played this before?
Not super.
Okay.
All I remember though is that it is super dumb, but also kind of super fun.
It's got the Tekken guy in it. Looks like.
The Tekken guy.
The Tekken guy. Another game I didn't play. Is it Heihachi or something like that?
Yeah, but I'm like almost positive that he's not in it.
No.
Yeah, he's not in it. That's someone that looks like him.
I see. He's on the cover. I see some shirtless guy, and I'm just like, Heihachi. It's Heihachi.
It's he has gray hair and is also shirtless. He
Yep.
must be Heihachi.
He's fighting with his fists. That is Heihachi.
Nope.
Right?
I'm actually.
You're actually
he
what?
fights with his fists.
Yeah, he's the only Soul Calibur character that does. Now I'm looking at it.
Wait, Soul Calibur, where are we at now?
Oh, Heihachi was the
exclusive character.
The exclusive character to Soul Calibur 2's PS2 edition. So, if you had Soul Calibur 2 on the PS2, you got Heihachi. If you had it on the Xbox, you would get Spawn. And if you had it on the GameCube, you would get Link.
Whoop, whoop. That's what I had.
Let's be perfectly honest.
I was gonna say, I remember Link.
Let's be perfectly honest. Link was just Cassandra with a boy skin.
That's pretty much true. Well, he had like a bow and arrow. That was cool.
Spawn was just Necrid, but not as cool. Yeah. But Heihachi was completely his own character.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah, catch it up, Microsoft. You got some learning to do. Something else.
All right, you want to move on?
Well, one last thing about that. I've realized this about like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One game covers. So, for example, I bought Dark Souls Remastered for Xbox One and PS4, and if you look on the side of all their games, Sony is putting like a background that matches the aesthetic of the game. So you might not even be able to see it in the camera, but there's like little embers, and it matches this look right here on the side. Whereas Xbox is just like, nope, we're gonna go gray. I don't give a shit what you got on the front of your game. It's gonna be gray with our just basic bitch font over the top, and that's it. That's all they do. Like, you can have a little bit of creativity with your font, but that's all they allow. So same deal with this Metal Gear Solid.
Or Helvetica Bold.
It's so well. I guess no. They do let them use their own font, but again, gray background as opposed to like actually showing the game and whatever it needs to. So like Overwatch, white on the front, white on the side. If this was Xbox, it'd be fucking gray. Like, what a gross color to pick. Who wants gray? It's just ugh. Get learnt. So all right, I'm done with my rant now. I'm upset. Okay, as an Xbox fan, I'm upset.
I don't blame you.
Is that Microsoft? In case you
listen. I get why you're upset, because in the 360, we were treated so well. North America was treated so well because it was the American first-person shooter gaming console. But in literally every other market in the entire world, everyone's like, no, PS3 is obviously better. They have way better everything. But nope, in North America, we love the Xbox 360.
Yep,
and then the next gen came out, and everything happened with. And now people are not thinking Xbox is so good anymore.
Yeah, and Xbox sales are plummeting. Okay, what's our next topic?
Okay, this is the little section where we just talk about what's been going on with us for the last, like, couple of weeks, I guess, in between podcasts. It'll be like whatever we did between podcasts, but right now it's just been, let's say, last 3 weeks. First off, what have we been playing? What have we been playing here?
You want to go first, Ian?
I'll go first. I've been playing Monster Hunter World because I just picked that up.
How many hours have you put into that so far?
Maybe like 5 to 6 so far.
Have you recently hunted? Anjanov.
Fuck that thing. I hit a wall. I have hit a wall in the game where I can no longer just solo monsters anymore. I fucking need other people to play with. I need other people to play with so fucking bad.
What about just randos? You don't like randos?
I hate playing with. You need lots of coordination in Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
And games where coordination is necessary with randos.
Can't mess with those filthy casuals.
It's not even casuals. It's like, I will yell at people for not being in their spots, but more often than not, I'm the one that's getting yelled at for not being where I'm supposed to be. Because I don't know, because I'm playing with randos and they don't communicate with me. So I want
Yeah,
to play with people that I can communicate with.
tricky. And see, that game looks good to me for every reason except that's grindy. And I look at my hands and I think about, I look at that game and it just looks painful. But it looks really
Oh
fun.
yeah, all the Monster Hunters have been super grindy.
Yeah, that's the impression
But
I
as
get.
long as as long as I have people to play it with, I'm happy. I'm happy to
Yeah,
grind as long as I have people to play it with.
for sure.
I've also been playing. Speaking of grinding, I've been playing Orcs Must Die Unchained with Anna and Adam.
Hmm,
So much grindy. So much grinding.
very cool.
Grinding
It's
for
really fun though.
skulls. It is really fun. And I like the whole setup we have. I just got my new hero that I wanted super bad, and he plays very well. I like the way he plays a lot. Um, his name is Oziel. He's got a bunch of good moves, and I like playing the Orcs Must Die with my friends.
So is that a game
Um,
that I could start up
It's a
from scratch
it's a
and have a
free to play
20-minute
game.
sesh?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
free.
No,
it's a
I
free to
already
play
have it.
game.
I'm just
Oh, well, the way it's set up is you would go anywhere from 5 to 10 waves, and you set up like defenses on the walls and floors and stuff, and the orcs come in waves. It'll be like wave one, here they come, and then wave two, here they come, and between waves you get time to set up and sell towers and stuff. And
And each round lasts about anywhere between like 8 to 15 minutes.
oh damn. Yeah, see the first game I'm like trying to play when I do start gaming again is gonna have to be like a quick game. Like I'm thinking no more than 20 minutes of actual like gameplay before I take a break. So
Yeah,
I'm,
exactly. Like it's 8 to 15 minutes. It's not long at all. The rounds are super short.
but you're saying there's like 5 rounds, right?
No, like each round, like
Oh,
the the
five
the
waves.
yeah, the accumulation of all the waves is between 8 to 15 minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's like the last game on my
it's
PS4 that I've downloaded and I haven't played yet, so we should.
it's super fast, and when you get bonuses for completing the waves really fast, and like the bonuses are all like 8 minutes and 10 minutes and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
Yeah,
it's meant to be
they
completed fast.
Okay, very
they
cool.
they have a star system. So basically, you get 1 star for completing the level. You get 1 star for having half of all. So the thing you're defending is called the Rift, and it has 25 health points. And for every orc or for everything that gets through, it's 1 rift point, except the bigger ones are like 2 or 3. And you'll have rift points at remaining at the end of the level. So if you have half of them, you'll get a 2nd star. If you have 75% of them, you'll like get 3 stars. If you have all the rift points remaining, you'll get 4 stars. And if you complete it if you do all of those things and complete it under the par time, which is different for every round, which is different for every level, you'll get another star.
Interesting.
And the more stars you get, the more loot you get.
Okay. Yeah, definitely
But
sounds like a
but
nice
the
multiplayer game.
the stars are cumulative. So if you got 3 stars on that level before, you can't get the previous 3 stars worth of loot. You'll only get more loot as the better stars you get.
Tricky. So you have to do new levels or get better stars
Re-
on previous ones.
exactly.
Huh.
You can replay old levels, but all you'll get is like the currency. You won't get any loot boxes or anything.
It also gives you a loot box if you complete it with a new character on
Yeah.
each map.
Tricky.
So if you like play through as Max on a round, and then you go back and play the same map as Gabriella, you would get 2 loot boxes.
Yeah, we'll have to, well, potentially play that. I'd also be down to do like Overwatch or what was the other one? maybe even Mass Effect 3. But Ian doesn't have 360. But yeah, I don't know. I'm down to do one of those short games.
If you want to shell out the shekels to get Mass Effect Andromeda for the PS4, which BioWare recently has been huge jerks, but they also have a very similar multiplayer to Mass Effect 3.
Well, I mean, personally, I wouldn't buy that when I already have the game, but I haven't tried out just for that reason. But that's good to know. I didn't realize they had that. I thought it was just their single player game.
No, but I mean, if you're going to buy it, don't give BioWare any money because they're assholes.
Yeah, they're huge fucking
After,
assholes.
did you hear what happened?
With John Bain?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them.
Who's John Bain?
So, okay. So, Total Biscuit, John Bain, was the first YouTuber I ever subscribed to fucking 6 years ago. He was gaming news, he was gaming opinions. He had StarCraft shoutcasting, he did playthroughs. He was just a really cool guy, really great guy. He was hilarious. He did the Game Station podcast, then it turned into the Polaris podcast.
I watched the Co-optional podcast last night. That's what I was falling asleep to.
The Co-optional podcast. So was it the recent one?
No, it was pretty old.
Yeah, so Total Biscuit was on there. Well, he had stage 4 cancer and he passed away recently.
Right, I learned about that. Yeah, like back in May.
Super sad.
Super sad. It was really.
Damn. Shit just got serious.
It was really fucking sad, and it bummed me out a lot.
Yeah.
And then the creative director for Anthem, which is BioWare's next, immediately gets on Twitter and says, "Oh, thank God John Bain died. Then he won't shit all over our game for no reason." Let that fucking sink in for a second.
It's just one shitty dude, but I'm not impressed with BioWare at all.
But the thing is, another person on BioWare did the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna fire either of them. They're not firing either of them.
Yeah, none of them are even getting reprimanded.
None of them are getting reprimanded at all either because Anthem's almost done.
I don't know. I still have a little bit of hope that they're just a couple of shitbags in this big corporation. But yeah, I mean, not just because I have a little bit of hope for anything. Like, even if a shitty company produces 20 shitty games, I'll be like, maybe they got it figured out this 21st time. But I'm not probably going to buy it for sure. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, what have you been playing?
Who?
You.
Me? Oh.
Yes.
The most recent thing I played was May 30th. Wow. It's crazy to put a date on it. It was over a month ago now. It was Agony. Day after that came out.
I watched your stream on that.
Was that live? Were you watching that live?
I didn't watch it live.
Okay.
I visited your Twitch channel.
I remember you stopping by.
After I saw it. Yeah, I visited your Twitch channel after I saw it come out, and I watched the video.
Yeah, I'm editing that right now to put it on YouTube. It's not a whole lot of editing. What sucks is the frame rate really dropped in that while recording, because it was truly my first steps in the game, so I hadn't ever recorded before and didn't anticipate that. But yeah, when you're watching the video, the frame rate is pretty abhorrent. But for me, playing the game, it was just fine. I didn't notice until I actually ended the video and went back to go watch it. But yeah, that was the last thing I played. I've been looking forward to that game for 2 years now. So I'll probably come back to that shortly after I return to gaming. But the other game that I may very well play first is called Everything. It's a very weird looking game. It reminds me of Spore, kind of. Um, I just saw some footage of it. Like I saw one of the trailers released for it, and it's actually old. Like it came out a year or two ago, and it was on sale on Steam the night I found out about it. So I bought it for like $5, or no, it was $5 for the game and like $5 for the soundtrack. I just bought a little bundle. But what really like interests me about it is that the whole thing is narrated by Alan Watts.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're just like you can. It seems like you can take control of anything. So this trailer that I watched started with the person just like as this bear standing up on a hill, and everything moves really weirdly. Like it has their own minimal animations.
The fucking I think the Game Grumps played this. Hold on.
Probably. It's called Everything. And so
Wait
this
a
bear
minute.
just
Is it
rolls
like the
around.
deer that like flips around in
Yes.
circles?
Yeah, so I've
Oh my
barely
God.
seen anything about it. So like
I remember that thing.
yeah, I don't know what the point of the game is, or if there really even is one, but like I am stoked to just get lost in it because it looks ridiculous. Like they went down to the molecular level, and then it looked like even below that, like they were fucking with some quantum business. And then they zoomed all the way back out to galactic. Like look, I'm a galaxy crawling on another galaxy. It was ridiculous. The amount of intricacy that like you could play as everything. So I want to play everything. So yeah, that's kind of what my mind's at in gaming right now. But also, just having taken a break from gaming, you start to look at all the games on your shelf and think like, ooh, I need to make sure I touch that gem. Like last night on the podcast, the Co-optional podcast, they listened to some music from Jet Set Radio, and they talked about Jet Set Radio Future,
shit.
and I'm just like, fuck, I need to play this game. I've had it forever. So
Jet Set Radio Future, that's definitely on my top 10.
oh, really? It's on your top 10.
Jet Set Radio was my first Xbox original game that I played.
Are we talking
and
radio or
fell
Radio
in love
Future?
with.
Apparently they're two different
Radio
games.
Future.
Okay.
Radio Future, but I did play the first one. Not as good because it was super heavily timed.
Okay. Interesting.
You had like it was you had a time limit to do anything in that game, but in Future you could go around these big worlds and fucking skate and listen to music, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love the art style in there too. What's that like? Is that cell shading? What's going on here?
Yeah, that's self shading. That's like super
minimal early
yeah
cell shading. But yeah,
which still holds up.
For sure. That's what I like about cell shading. So yeah.
All right, Anna, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
Yes.
I mean, obviously,
not too much.
I see you fucking going crazy on Orcs Must Die when I'm like doing something else.
Me and Adam have been playing Orcs Must Die Unchained for a hot minute. Also been trying to platinum. I've made it my goal to at least make the attempt to platinum Minecraft.
Damn.
On the PS4.
Oh, okay.
That is quite the feat, buddy.
At least it's like measurable on PS4. You can be like, okay, I'm gonna get all the trophies, and then you're done. I feel like to truly 100% that game would be impossible. I'm trying to think of what that list would mean.
You could do everything there is to do.
That's what we've been
mods
saying.
not included. That's possible.
Mods not included.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to platinum that game.
Good luck.
I have been working on a for a long time now, which is you fill out 9 map, put them in a 3x3 square on the wall.
Map room or something like that.
Yeah, and since it's on survival, I have to like, it's just taking forever.
Yep. Miles just started to try and get after that achievement. And he's only got down like the first 4.
Is
Yeah, I've been
the
doing it.
realm still alive?
Yes, yeah, it is. No,
My
the
character.
the realm doesn't seem like it's gonna die anytime soon. We just haven't been playing on it as much, but Miles paid for it to be active for another 6 months, like 2 months ago. So it should be good for a little while, and then I'm sure he'll extend it again.
I hop on and play every now and then.
Very cool. Yeah.
Heavy. I don't even know where it is. I lost my map and I started swimming in the direction that I thought I died.
Man.
Ian, is this?
Yeah, I hear that.
Oh
You
God,
went super robot. You went wolf mecha on us there.
that was terrifying.
Wolf mecha.
Yeah, what I caught out of that is that you lost your map and went swimming. Also,
And
you're
I found
a
a
robot.
random island.
Cool. Does it appear unoccupied?
It is unoccupied, yes.
Oh, awesome. I'd be very curious to see what that is. There's only a few islands left in the center map that are unclaimed. So, cool. I'll have to stop on there at some point and just look around. I do that sometimes. Like I'll launch Skyrim up and just like stand where I currently had my last save and just look around all the mountains. I'll do that occasionally. But yeah.
I've been watching.
Code Geass, for me, that's an anime that I'm wrapping up here. It's been pretty enjoyable.
Is that it? I mean, like, I don't know much about Code Geass, so I don't want to talk about it too much because I do want to watch it.
Yeah, and I hate spoilers, as you guys know, so I don't want to say too much about it. But Anna, have you seen Code Geass?
No, I haven't. Tell me, someone who knows nothing about it, spoiler free, something about it for our potential listeners.
It's got a very interesting premise that you only really see, or that I only see out of anime, where the writing, for one, is based off of this supernatural thing, and how that influences the entire outcome of everybody in the show's objectives is really cool. Like that thing is Code Geass. So what Code Geass is and how everybody behaves because of it is very interesting. I can only compare in my head to like Death Note and how Death Note had those different rules that you as the viewer have to be constantly thinking about as you're encountering the situations the protagonist is. Thinking that like, okay, he has an ability to, somehow circumvent what's about to happen, but he also has to stay within these rules or these parameters. So it's kind of just it's interesting to watch for that reason. Also, there's analogies to chess, and it zooms out a lot of the time in a sense to give you a bigger picture of what's going on that I really enjoy, and again, also only get out of a show like that. So it's been cool.
Nice.
Yeah, looking forward to finishing it up.
It's on my list of things to watch.
Yeah, I would recommend it for sure.
Anything else interesting of note?
Not in terms of what I've been watching.
Okay, that's fair. I have found a YouTube channel that I am falling in love with very rapidly. And it's called the Drawfee channel, Drawfee. And the premise of the channel, from what I can tell, is literally just they're given prompts that have to do with nerd culture, and they have to try to draw these things.
Ooh, so I've seen a channel like that.
One of these things, it was fucking hilarious, is my favorite artist on that channel is Julia, because she does the grossest, dumbest body horror stuff, and it's hilarious. to see everyone react to what she's doing.
Hmm.
But like they were given like a, hey, none of you have ever played Bloodborne, so I'm gonna give you the name of a boss, a little bit of what it does, and then you can try to draw it to see what
Oh
you
my
I'm pretty
God.
sure I have seen that actually. I saw like the Dark Souls one, and it was really cool
Yeah.
to see them
It was
do
it
some of
was
those bosses.
the one that made me laugh my ass off was they were given they were like, all right, you're gonna do Thomas the Tank Engine with these characters. And the first guy did a plane, but he like warped his face because he was flying super fast, so his face is all fucked up from like flying. And then Julia takes the fucking you know those kiddie cars that are like the red ones with the yellow hood over them? The
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
Copper Cozy, the ones
Mhm.
for kids. Well, she made a Thomas the Tank Engine character of that, but she made like bodies coming out of it. And the reactions of the two
Oh,
guys that were with her were the funniest fucking things. They were like, hey, Julia, I noticed there's a protrusion. It's not getting better. It's not getting better. It's getting worse. Jacob, I need help.
That's pretty
So
great.
I would highly recommend it. It's a new YouTube channel that I discovered.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out.
They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I
And
wrote
then
it down.
watched a little bit of the new season of Luke Cage last night.
Ooh.
Like I said, the tiniest little bit, like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then I had to make dinner.
Yeah. But you
So,
watching anything superhero is not. That's not very Ian.
I do like Luke Cage. Luke Cage is pretty cool.
Huh.
toss me the rock.
What?
Huh?
The first season of Luke Cage, the writing was not good.
Pretty much all
So
the Marvel
there-
shows writing is pretty crappy. It's
So there was
not
this
good.
one scene where like this like businesswoman is on like a basketball court, and she turns and face like these fucking
Oh yeah.
ruffians. She turns and like looks at them, and she puts her hands up. She's just like, toss me the rock," and they like toss
Toss
her
me
over
the
the basketball. And she starts playing with them,
Ooh.
and it's just like so stilted the way it was
Oh,
delivered that
God.
we couldn't help but laugh so hard.
I would just
Toss
like turn
me
it off.
the rock.
Toss me the rock. You got it.
Other than that, I watched the Pacific Rim Uprising, and it's so stupid, and I love it. I love it so much. I love how just stupid and dumb. It's just big robots fighting big monsters, and it's my favorite.
Is that the sequel?
And
Yeah, it's the sequel.
Okay.
It's so great. I loved it so much.
Huh.
big dumb kaiju battle that we've always wanted.
I love it.
That Japan, for some reason, refuses to deliver.
But yeah, those are the only things of note that I've watched this past week.
All right.
Past 2 weeks, I guess.
Very cool. Anna?
I just recently finished watching Full Metal Alchemist.
Ooh. Interesting.
It was good. Very good series. 10 out of 10. Would recommend if you haven't seen it.
And I haven't actually. So I went camping this last weekend, and my friend David, in the car, we at some point got on the topic of anime, and FMA was brought up by him, and he hasn't seen very much, but he was just like, "You should definitely watch FMA," and so it's moving up on my priorities list for sure.
In the beginning, it takes a little bit to get going, but like when I say a little bit, I mean like 2 or 3 episodes.
Well, I've seen the first like 2 or 3 episodes, and I liked it. I just at the time it didn't line up to keep watching. But if you're saying it's better, that's
after
good.
that, like there isn't a single character, good or evil, well, not really evil, good or other good, that I don't like on that show.
That's good to hear.
All the characters were very likable.
What's your guys' favorite show of all time? Just real quick. Do you guys
Game of
have one?
Thrones.
Okay. One Punch
Favorite
Man
show?
for me.
That's a good one.
I love One Punch Man.
I don't know. SpongeBob.
That's
a good
also
one
a
too.
good one.
Hey,
SpongeBob.
That's a
Yeah,
very good
that is
answer.
a very good one. Miles was watching a lot of that recently, and I was in turn by just being his roommate.
It's fucking hilarious.
It
Like
is.
the three seasons
Exactly.
are, oh my god, they're so fucking funny.
Exactly. Yeah, Miles owns them right over there. I'm looking at them. Huh.
All right, what have we been listening to?
Well, I kind of cut Anna off. Is there anything else that you've been watching?
Just finished watching Steven Universe. Well, the latest
We're
season.
getting caught up on Steven Universe. Yeah, I have to watch the newest episode and then I'm all caught up.
I
It's
still have so much
good.
I have yet to. I haven't watched. I think I just watched the first episode after you showed it to me, Ian.
Yeah, man.
Where can you watch that? Where do you watch that?
Hulu.
Yeah, you can watch the first 3 seasons on Hulu, but it's out, like Hulu likes to do for some fucking reason.
It's what like who likes to do? You cut out.
It the episodes are out of order, which Hulu likes to do for some reason.
That's weird. Okay.
If you just Google it, like, and then put like Steven Universe watch, it'll
Online
take you to
free.
like Cartoon Net or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, and
Then
you can
go
watch
to a
it there.
shady-
Oh, okay.
You go to a shady cartoon website and you could watch it there. I'm not recommending you do that for obvious reasons, but that's probably
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
don't-
talking about like
don't
legal
worry.
reasons first of all, legal methods, and
Don't
then
toward cartoons, kids.
yeah.
Due to drugs.
Legal methods that you have first 3 seasons on Hulu, then you're fucking burnt after that. Get cable and record every episode that happens on cable on Cartoon Network.
there you go.
That's it, pretty much. Those are the only, or buy on Amazon the actual packs and watch them there. They're also out of order on Amazon, by the way.
Of course they are. Weird. Well, I can just find the actual list of the order online. That's not hard.
Yeah, you could.
All right. Anything else? Anna?
Oh, no, that's pretty much been it.
Okay. Ian.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, what have we been listening to, music-wise or podcast-wise or anything? I'll just say that the thing that I've been listening to probably the most is I have a playlist on Spotify that's 100 songs long. That's a bunch of progressive rock and progressive metal. I can send it to you or you two if you want, or you can put it in the description
Yeah.
or whatever, so people can listen to it if they want to.
Please do.
It's basically right now it's 50 different artists. Each artist has 2 different songs on that playlist. Songs total. I'm at the point now where if I find a new band that I like, to the playlist until I get to 150 songs, and then after that, each artist will get 3 songs.
Huh. Interesting. Very cool.
And Super Best Friends Cast, always a pleasure to listen to. H3 Cast, always pleasure to listen to. And Co-optional Podcast.
On that note, I guess I have been listening to other podcasts. I wasn't thinking about that, but I've been like, just dabbling in other gaming podcasts to, I don't know, not even to prepare for this. Like I didn't know this was going to be a thing until yesterday. And I've just been watching lots of different podcasts. Good stuff to listen to.
Yeah. And NSP's new song, Ninja Sex Party's new song, Danny, Don't You Know, which has Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things playing a younger Danny in the music video.
Yes, please.
It's
All right.
so good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so good.
on the to-do list. Very cool.
What about you, Anna?
I've just been recently today. I've been I hyped myself up for the podcast by listening to some Tech Nine, little blast from the past.
For sure.
Besides that, nothing too nothing too noteworthy.
Nothing too new.
Nope.
Fair enough.
And I guess the last thing, unless you had something to say, Austin.
A little bit, yeah. Like I've been I briefly mentioned this to you, Ian, last night. I've been like dipping my toes in. I've barely ever gone to any concerts in my life, just in general. But at this point, in the last like 2 months, I've doubled the amount of concerts I've been to. Because I only ever went to 2 concerts, and then in May I went to.
Spangle.
Yeah, one of them was Spangle, the other one was Paradiso. So there were 2 pretty like good concerts to have gone to. In my opinion, like I liked it. I just never have been big on the concert scene. But living over here in Seattle now, I'm exposed to more artists that I've at least kind of listened to. So back in early May, I went and saw a Joey Badass concert that was fucking awesome, and Miles has been talking about that guy forever, like since high school, much like you have, Ian, with some of these artists that we've been listening to, or that you've been listening to, and these progressive rock artists. So it was cool to like see this guy that Miles has been talking about for a hot minute in person, and getting some of his stuff, like his new album, All American Badass, which I highly recommend. It's amazing. Like I wish I'd gotten to this guy earlier. And then last week, I went to a Mighty Mighty Boss Tones concert.
So good.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's funny, actually. Earlier in this podcast, I said the phrase, "That's the impression I get."
Yeah.
I
didn't catch that.
Yeah. It was too far away to make that any sort of a segue, but that was not intentional. Like, I just that impression that I get, and I have them on my mind, so it's a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I've been listening to those people who I'm going to see in person. I'm also going to go to an Animal Collective concert in a few weeks here, so I've downloaded like some of their jams, like Strawberry Jam, and that's funny. One other thing is a retro or synthwave artist that Miles has showed me, Dance with the Dead. I'm getting quite into them, and I would also recommend them.
Awesome.
Cool beans.
And the last little topic is, in the last couple of weeks, what's one thing of note that you ate? Like, what is one tasty ass food that you ate, and from where?
I'm just trying to think of like the grossest possible things. Well, the most notable thing I ate would have had to been the dust under my chair. I just wanted to.
Would have been the lint behind the toilet.
Would have been the dirty hair in the drain.
My roommate Justin.
Yeah.
Made a duck ramen 2 days ago.
Ooh, I bet that was tasty.
Shit was fucking delicious.
Huh.
The duck was perfectly cooked. He got the soba noodles. He made the broth himself. It took him like 6 hours.
I bet.
It was so good. It was delicious.
Where did he get the duck? Is there like an Asian market, or did he go hunting for a duck?
There's several Asian markets. I don't know. It was definitely an Asian market.
Okay.
Because I was definitely like, oh, you're thawing a chicken. And he's like, that's a duck. And I'm like, what? And then I look at it, and it's nothing but Chinese written on the label. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep. Makes sense.
That makes sense.
Huh. Interesting. I'm still thinking. I thought I had something, but now I can't remember.
What about Anna? What about, like, I know you live in the boonies, so there's not much available to you unless you go in town.
I don't know if either of you have experienced a 4-for-4 meal at Wendy's.
How was that?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah, tell me what's in there. What do you get? What are the 4 things you get to pick from?
You're gonna pick from 4 hamburgers.
Dude, there's a Wendy's right down the road.
You're gonna pick from a hamburger, a chicken burger and two other things. I don't remember what the two other things were, but I ate chicken nuggets, fries, and something else, a drink, for $4.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I actually remember there was like a Carl's Jr. down the road from when I worked at Alorica, that call center. And yeah, they had a similar deal that I would buy a number of times. Get like a spicy chicken sandwich with like a fry and a drink plus something else. It was like two chicken sandwiches. Yeah.
I get Carl's Jr. once every like 6 months after working there. I used to get like their food like once every 2 weeks, and then I worked there. Now I'm just like,
yeah.
But every once in a while, a Western burger sounds pretty good, so I'll get that. But
yeah,
I don't.
They're not bad.
I don't really like eating there anymore.
They had a really weird just look to the whole place, and I was never very keen on it. And I think I had one burger that was like weird and soggy early on, and I had a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, with that deal they had, I would go quite a bit. They're not too bad. They're not too bad. It's fucking fast food, but it's not too bad. It's better than McDonald's.
For sure.
Yeah. I still can't think of something. I'm making like a goat cheese burrito today with like black beans and avocado and purple cabbage. It's supposed to be really easy. I'm just gonna
that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but I can't think of like what I have ate recently. I feel like there's something I'm just gonna slap myself over the head for it once we end the podcast. But yeah.
All right.
Well, next time.
Yeah.
Next time on Friends
Next
Talk Games.
time on the podcast.
Friends Talking Games.
The Nerds Talk About Games.
I'm Guy Fieri, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, actually, hey, there's one last thing I want to talk about. Before I forget, what are your guys' consoles? This is more just to remind me. Like, what consoles do you guys currently have?
We PS2, GameCube, Wii, and PS4. That is what I have. That is what I use. I don't have a computer or anything else with me right now.
Right. Anna?
Okay. I have a NES, an SNES, the original wooden Atari.
Ooh.
PS2, PS3, Xbox Original, Xbox 360, a Wii, Wii U, GameCube, and N64.
11. Damn. I'll also count portable game systems.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, the DS, and a little bit of the PS Vita.
What does that mean? You have a little bit? You have like a fourth of a PS Vita? You either have it or you don't.
It was a friend's PS Vita. It was, he was gonna let me have it at first, but then he was just like, he went ahead and took it back.
Oh, I see. That is
So,
partial ownership.
A little bit.
Yeah, I will accept that.
Virtual ownership.
Partial ownership, yeah.
Yeah, partial.
Okay. Yeah, now I lost track. Now I think you're like over 15. But yeah, that's the thing. If I start counting in my handhelds, it'll get a lot larger too. So, and then you have a PC, don't you? You have like an Alienware laptop?
Oh, yep, PC.
Dope. Wait, okay, do you have a desktop as well, or just that, like,
my laptop's powerful enough to be a desktop.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's massive.
Ever since, like, graphics cards went TU, it slowed down a little bit. I just need to get my graphics card repaired.
They went TU? What does that mean?
It's up.
Oh, God. What do you speak of? Okay, cool. That's quite a bit. You got everything. You got a lot of shit. The wooden Atari is the most impressive. That's awesome. That's really fucking cool.
It's a wooden Atari in a box.
Remember when we wanted our game systems to be made out of wood?
Remember when what?
Remember when we wanted our game systems to be out of wood?
I don't know that I ever did. I don't know that that was ever a strong desire for me. I didn't think the option was even there, to be honest. So,
Ah. So what do you have?
Yeah,
um,
I'm curious.
so a lot of the stuff you can see behind me and have been able to see in the whole time, the whole podcast. So there's the Xbox One X, my Xbox 360E, the blue Walmart edition, um, which comes with like the worst game in my possession, Call of Duty Ghosts. Like if I could give that away, I would. I guess not. Whatever. Moving on. Sony, my PS4. I'm looking at the Sony label. My PS4 Pro, and underneath that, my PS2. And I think I have to turn the camera down slightly. N64, Xbox One original, and then below that, my monitor's gonna fall. My GameCube, and you can't even see it because it's black, but I have a Wii hiding down there as well. And I have a 3DS, just the normal 3DS, a blue DS Lite, little blue Game Boy SP, two Game Boy Advances, a Game Boy Micro, a Game Boy Color.
The Game Boy Micro.
Yeah, it's the shit. I think that's it. Oh, I have another black 360 right there. It's an Xbox Elite. And I have a brand new 360 over there, just sitting in the box. And I think that's it. I have one more
Alright.
broken Xbox 360 that's red ringed. I shouldn't count that though.
Oh, and it has like 5 of those.
Yeah. If we're counting broken consoles, then the list's gonna get even longer. But
All right. Well,
cool.
in
And my
order
PC.
to end this podcast, in order to end this little podcast that we've started here, I want to leave it with this. And I read this to Anna last night. Guy forced a bot to watch 1,000 hours of diners, drive-ins, and dives, and then asked it to write an episode of its own. Here's the first page. Interior, parking lot. Guy Fieri is in a convertible. He looks like America. Guy Fieri says, I'm Guy Fieri and there's nothing you can do about it. Today I'm eating it all. Guy Fieri takes a bite out of his own hair. Interior, diner kitchen. A guy and a chef are in the kitchen. Guy has 3 pairs of sunglasses on. The sun can't get to him. Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri, prove to me you can panini. The chef starts boiling a pot of milk. He is scared. Chef, Flavortown is near. Guy points to an onion with his slippery finger. Guy Fieri says, that is one ugly clam. Interior, diner's eating room. A customer sits and eats a cup of mustard. Guy sits down without asking. Guy Fieri, I will live as a food. I am a food. Customer says, be a pie. Guy acts like a pie. The customers are not concerned. Guy Fieri, I am Pie Fieri. It is my birthday. The chef comes out of the kitchen with a cake for Guy. Guy Fieri, the clams just keep getting uglier.
It should be a pie. It should be a birthday pie, not a birthday cake.
Now it's a birthday cake. No, but shut up though. It's a birthday cake.
Oh,
That's an ugly clam.
That is one ugly clam.
it just keeps getting uglier.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think that'll call it for now. This was
All right.
fun, and I can't wait till we do this again.
Indeed. I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks.
Yeah. See you in 2 weeks.
All right. I guess
Bye-bye.
I'll end this like I do my videos. I can't help it. Bye-bye. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. All right. Do you want to get this started? Do you want to do the intro, or do you want me to do the intro?
I'm gonna get some more water, so I'll be right back. But then, yes, I'm ready.
Give us your Gulpiest.
I'll give you my Gulpiest.
ASMR Gulp channel.
We come here, we give you our Gulpiest. Well, welcome to the new channel. This is
Welcome
a new,
to a
a
new
new channel.
welcome to a new podcast.
Yeah.
This podcast is for all of you who have ears and want to hear about video games and what else we did these past 2 weeks. We are nobody at all. We literally are doing this because we thought it'd be fun, and that's that.